Hi, we are from Group 22. My name is Ong Yu Chin, and we are developing a car rental system called AutoRent. We are integrating the car model API, car image API, and also an API for email validation. In this project, we are using MongoDB as our database, and then Node.js and Express for our backend. In our front end, we are using HTML, JavaScript, and also CSS. This is the welcome page of our system. Now I'll be demonstrating the login page. The user are required to enter the registered email and password to log into their account. So if you are a first-time user, you might need to register an account. This is the registration form. And we have added the input validation for username, email, and password. This is the front-end code for the registration form. So first, we have initialized the password pattern by enforcing at least 8 characters and with capital letters, normal letters, and also the combination with the special characters and also the numbers. If the password that input from user is not matching with the password pattern, it will return the alert message as shown. And also, we have implement the mailbox layer API for our email validation. So it will get requests to the backend endpoint with this route API/validate email and passing the query parameters email. So this is the backend code. In this part, the backend will receive the email from the front end via this code request.query.email, and it will make a request to the mailbox layer API by passing the parameter access key, email, SMTP, and format. This access key is get from the mail layer API dashboard as shown here. The API access key is just by copying this access key, you will be able to use this API. And the email is the email that passed from the front end. The SMTP is to connect to the domain's mail server to verify if this email is registered. And this format is the format to initialize the format that returning the result. So the user.js under models folder is to store the schema for all user account. So it includes username, email, password, and also profile image. For the profile image, the default will be set to this URL. So after the validation is complete, it will proceed with registration by post/api/auth/register to create a new user and post/api/auth/login for authentication. When the user successfully log into their account, the JWT token will be decoded to retrieve the ID and to fetch the user account by ID. Okay, so we are going to test if the validation and the register function works. So for example, I am going to register a user called Johnny and using a fake email which is not registered email and also an invalid password by just entering the numbers. Okay, when the user clicks sign up button, it will show this alert message which has mentioned earlier. So now I'm going to change the password that is valid. Okay. This is the password that I have input, which is matching with the password patterns. And when I click on the sign up button, it will show that this email is not a valid email address. So now I'll be entering a valid email to test if it works. Okay, so when the email has been verified, it will show the register successful message, alert message here. So when the user successfully registered their account, it will navigate back to the login page to let user log in into their account for further actions. Okay, so this is the user that we registered just now. So now I would like to test on this login page. For example, if the user is input a wrong password, it will show an alert message. So this is the correct password, and when the user click on sign in, it will show login successful message, and it will navigate to the home page. When the user successfully log in to the welcome page, the login or sign up text will be turned into their username. So this is the About Us page, which just showing some information of this current system. And when the user click on this button on their username, it will navigate to the account page, which showing their username here, and user can perform their profile settings in this page. User can upload new picture, upload their profile picture. The picture must be in upload folder, for example this one. Okay, so it will show profile picture updated, and in our database the URL will be updated to the latest URL. So this is done by getting the API/user/upload profile, get the post request from the backend, and it will return the updated URL in the database. Now you can see the profile image is updated, and for updating the username, for example, I'm editing the name to my name. Okay, when I click on the save changes, it will show the profile updated successfully message. Okay, so let us check on the database. Okay, the username has been updated to the latest updated name. Okay, so this is done by the put request on the API/user/user ID. The user are also allowed to reset their password by entering current password, new password, and the confirm new password. So I'll be entering the current password, which is this ABCD1234 and the asterisk. So the new password I will change to ABCD12345 and add. This will be our new password. Okay, so when we enter the different password for the new password, it will show error message. For the confirm password is not matched. Okay, so when we change to the match password, it will show password change successfully. So let's check on the database. Password is hash. I couldn't show the exact password, but I can try it for the login for when during the login page. Okay, so just now I'm using this email, and the latest email is this one. Okay, so it shows that the password is updated and the username also updated. So the reset password function is done by using the put function for API/user/user ID. In account.js, front-end fetch the user detail with the token. So this is the car list page by showing the car image and the car details here in the card. So I'm going to explain on how the car image is, how to get the car image. This is the front end code for the card for this is the front end code on our car list page, and this part of code will be explaining how to get the car image from the API. So first, it will send a request to the backend route /API/car image by passing the car make, car model, and year to the backend. So this is our backend code. We are using Car Imagery API for the car image, and this API does not require any API key. So it will get the request from the front end, and it will pass the search term, the make and model into the API. And then if the image URL is found, it will return back to the front end. And if the image is not found, it will using the placeholder. So for instance, I'm going to run this car, and by key in a random date, okay, now we check on the car rental database. In this booking part, so this is the booking that we made just now, and the image URL will be saved in the car object.
Hello. Good day to you, Mr. Shaiman. My name is Yu Hong, and I'll be continuing to presenting for our car rental system, covering the backend components and some of the main front-end logics. So my part will include the backend structure in server.js, which is this file, server.js, and then the booking models, booking.js models, and then the route, booking.js. And also include the client-side functionality for homepage and car details page. Sorry, it's car listing page, not homepage. Car listing page and my car details page. This is the car listing page JavaScript, and this is the HTML for car listing page. And this is the JavaScript for car details page, and this is the HTML for car details page. Sorry. Then I'll clear out and run it again. Okay, I'll run the system again. No, server.js. So when I run this node server.js, I need to go to my the directory that my server.js is, which is the backend and /env, which is here, as you can see, this directory, and then only then I can run this node server.js. This node server.js is used for calling the API endpoint and also declaring routes. And then the front-end server.js, which is here, this file. This file does not need locate to any directory because it is already in the root directory of my project folder. So I can just run it straight away. This is for the front-end routing for my UI. Okay. Opening the page. This is what our starting page look like, and this is the car listing page. So before I'll go into the car listing page code details, I'll talk about the server.js file first. So in our project, the server.js serves as the main backend controller, and it uses Express to create and configure the API server. So the files begin by importing all necessary modules such as Express, CORS, Mongoose for MongoDB interaction, and Axios for making HTTP requests to external APIs, and XML to JS for passing XML response. And then next, another thing is it also uses .env to manage environment variables and node catch to catch response for performance improvement, and also API rate limit. So this server sets up multiple routes handler, like by importing routes file for authentication, wishlist or user management, and booking and payment. So these routes are mounted on the API/prefix, and two catch are initialized using node catch car catch for storing car models result, and details catch for trim details lookup, which is in here, car catch, and also the details catch, which is under my trim details catch. Details catch is for storing the a more detailed version of this endpoint, and the car catch is for storing the base model car. I'll show you the sample of the endpoint that is being, the JSON data that is being written by the endpoint from the car API. So the car API that we use is this car API, and the endpoint we calling it is this one, car API app/model.v2, and the year is 2020. So in here we will find the API/models, which is this, and then by inputting the year, we only get all the car from this year, and execute it, and then we will see that these are all the car that is being showed at here, which is under my trim details catch. Details catch is for storing a more detailed version of this endpoint, and the car catch is for storing the base model car. I'll show you the sample of the endpoint that is being, the JSON data that is being written by the endpoint from the car API. So the car API that we use is this car API. And the endpoint we calling it is this one, car API app/model.v2, and the year is 2020. So in here we will find the API/model, which is this, and then by inputting the year, we only get all the car from this year and execute it, and then we will see that these are all the car that is being showed. It's only the JSON data. And then this is for our endpoint API/cars, and another trim details. The trim details, API/trim details we use is API trim/v2, and also input the trim ID. So is this API trim/v2/id. So first we will go to the API models and get the first car that we get, and we will copy the car ID, and we will go to the trims and input the ID, execute. So in this trims details, the JSON data that it returns is a more complete version of the car details. It has all the car bodies, like these, type, door, length, width, and the car engine, horsepower and what, and transmission, and drive type, and also mileage, like the average economy calculation. Okay, so this is the first look of our car listing page. It's being listed as this, like this. The car name, car make, car name, and then car seat, and then fuel type, and transmission type, and then the car location is counted as hard-coded. So in my main.js, I have a search function in here, search by make or model. So this is what the search input and button look like. So this is Acura, right? This is Alpha, and this is Aston Martin. So I'll search by Acura, or you can use it because it's the same. So it only shows Acura, or you search Alpha as the other car, or you search Aston Martin, or you can search Audi. Yeah, these are the functions of my search function. And then for this search filter type, the car, we can filter it by car brand, like this, car brand, or we could filter it by car seats, 2 people, or we could filter it by location, which is being hard-coded. Okay, now, so actually in my server.js, you could see in my API.get, which is the normal fetch based car, you could see I will check the catch key first. If there are no catch key, I will straight call this fetching fresh data from API, which is I'll straight using the API endpoint to get the data. And then after this, I'll push the data into catch, and then on the second run of this fetch car, when because I stored the car cache in the first run, right? And then on the second run, I will catch it, and then in my cache data, it will have all of the data that is being run from the first run, which is the car API. And then it goes the same with the trim details too. I also check if there is a catch, and then if there's no catch, then I will not print console log, but then I will also check if there's catch. If there's no catch, I will fetch it again, which is like this. Then if there is catch, I will return the catch to display the data from catch, like this. And then so that's all for my car list page and the part for my server.js. And then I'll be talking about the booking models first. So in this file, it defines the MongoDB Mongoose schema for car bookings. So for each booking document contains a reference to user who made the booking. So in this booking schema, you can see I declare the user, which will store the user ID, so that it will host to the user ID. And then it also hold a nested car object. In the car object, I will store the car ID, make, model, and also the pickup location, pickup time, and also the car year, and the car image URL, and then the price of the car per day. And then outside, and then after the car object, I store the schema includes field for start date, end date, created at, and total price, and the status of the payment, which could be pending, confirm, or cancel. It depends. When user first confirm the booking, it will save this data. It will save the data into the database as pending. And then after user have go to the payment page, user choose to pay now. If user choose to pay later, then user will not get user will stay as pending. And then if user select pay now, it will go to confirm. And if user has not successfully been able to pay the booking on time, which is a day before the booking, then the booking will be cancelled. Okay, now I'll be moving on to my route booking.js. So this route file handles all booking logic, including creating, updating, and fetching bookings. So the post/API/booking route starts by validating that all necessary fields are provided, which is this, and then it ensures booking does not start in the past and enforce a maximum rental duration of 30 days, which is this. If start now, less than that, and yeah, and the max duration date 30, which is this, like this. And then next is that it will check if the user currently have an active booking or not. It will check by the user ID and the end date of the booking. If user doesn't have an active booking, then they are fine. If they have a current active booking, which is the end date is not yet to be over, then they are not able to book the car. And moving on. Another validation is if one user has booked the same car and another user are not able to book the same car, so that it prevents overlapping booking. And after all of the validation is passed, then we'll pass the booking data into the database with a default status of pending. And then moving on to the patch. The patch is used at after user is done with the payment. Also, it will update a booking status. For example, to confirm, like so. This get booking is used for displaying rental history and all of the details in booking. Now moving on to back to my UI page, because I have done explaining the backend, booking models, booking routes, and server.js. And then now moving on to my car details page. This is my car details.js. Now after I click this, This is my car details page. It shows all the car make, car name, and this is all the more simple car details. And then if you want more details, you are able to click this button and it will show all of the detail of the cars. Oh my god. And now in here I have the add to wishlist button, and users are able to add the car that they want to wishlist by clicking this button. And if user has already wishlist this car, it will turn to a red heart, which is like this, by clicking this. And then in the database, this is the user, A5, and then in the wishlist database, the user ID 8A5 is being added. The car is being added. User has wishlist this car, which is Acura ILX. As you can see, Acura ILX. Yes. And then if user doesn't want they decided they don't want to wishlist this car, they can click it again, and then the database will be updated. This user wishlist will be empty. Okay, I'll show you the code for my wishlist, which is here. First, I use the fetch API wishlist, and then in this authorization, I will check the token is expired or not, and then if not, then I will progress on fetching the wishlist, like so. Yep. So moving on to my car details.js. This file also powers the car details and booking page. And as I showed just now, all of the car details is displaying here. And it also uses the fetch the detailed trim data from the API/trim details/trim ID, the same endpoint that is being used in the car list page. So as you can see in this script, fetch trim details, this is a page to fetch all of the more detailed, this height show more details, all of these details is being fetched in the car details, is being fetched by the API/trim details script. And then this is the code for it, updating using inner HTML to update it. And then moving on, it will be the booking form, which is here. So the booking form includes field for pickup and drop-off details, and also rental dates. The pickup and drop-off details, the pickup and drop-off location is being defined at here. So example, if the car is from Johor Bahru, and then this will show Senai International Airport, which is the airport at Johor. So next, so in the booking form, DOM content loader. So when the user click the booking button, it will first validate whether the user is logged in or not at here. It will get the local storage and then validate the user is booking or not. And then after, if the user is logged in, what it will do is validate the date range for the selected date range. And then after that, it will check on the pickup time and drop off time, whether or not it is being filled. And then it will also check start date cannot be today, and also end date cannot be earlier than today. And then yeah, then after all the checking is done, it will compile all the booking data and send a post request to the API booking endpoint. which pass it to the booking.js route, and then call the API booking right here, this, and then post it. And then the booking data then it is saved in local storage, and the user is redirected to the payment page. Now I'll continue after explaining the backend for booking form. Then I will do it in the front end as a process. So now if I choose the date on today, and then put the time, date, the time, it will says that the start date cannot be in the past, which is today, so it's already in the past. So we need to choose it tomorrow, and so on so on. And then we could choose this, either we could choose the same day, or we could choose the day after that, which is whatever date that is more than the date 24th. But the end date cannot be previous date than the start date. So after I choose the start date and end date, I will choose the time for the pick up the car, 10:22 a.m. and then drop off the car will be 10 p.m. And then after done, now I click the confirm booking. Then it will redirect me to the payment page. Now in this payment page, all we did was a very simple static payment with no payment method. You only click proceed to payment, and then the booking is confirmed. So after all of the process of booking a car is done, now it's time to check the database. So in here you could see there is a new created booking details, and you could check the user ID of the user that just now I used is 8A5, and then now you can see this booking belongs to the user 8A5, and the booking the booking indeed display the data that we have defined in the booking.js models. It has a car object. It shows it stores this ID, make, model, pickup location, pickup time, and then year, image URL, and so on and forth. And then also the start date, end date, total price, and the status has become confirmed. And that's all for my part. Thank you.